Hey guys, how's it going? Well, as you can probably see by the title, but working back on the Yukon, and yep, I got another camera. This is the same camera that I already have on the back of the truck. Except this one is going right here. Right there in the front. I got two camera inputs, so that's what I'm going to do. Put one in the front because, well, first of all, this bumper sticks out a lot, and I don't know where it ends sitting up in the truck, and also just the truck in general, how big it is. I don't know where the front stops, so, you know, pulling the parking spots and stuff like that, it's tricky, especially tight parking spots. 99% of the time I'm backing in somewhere, because it's easier for me to figure out where the rear of the truck is with the rearview mirrors and now the camera, with the tow mirrors and now the camera, obviously. Sometimes the rearview mirrors are a lot easier to use than the backup camera, though, just because it's just something, you know. But I use all three. You know, the rearview mirror is useless because they're just higher in the way. And that's where the backup camera comes in. It gives me what the rearview mirror would give me. But so I usually back in almost anywhere I go. Because of that, because how big this front bumper is. In order to pull into the parking spot, there's just no room with the bumper. But so this camera will help me with that, and you know, just to have a front camera because the radio has an option for it, and I kind of want one. You know, don't know how much I'll actually use it, but I mean, it would be useful.
Motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me.
Alrighty, I got some of the wires laid out. The camera through the very top of my billet grill. I don't know if that, there it goes. Very top of my billet grill. And just kind of got it laid out about where it's going to be. And it looks like I got enough to actually go inside and go down to the kick panel. And on the inside, right down through the same, ran it down through the same spot in the back right there. As you notice, this time though, I got all three wires. I got my power, got my ground, and I got my coax. That's because you notice this is really thick, and then you get down here, it's really thin. That's because I taped it up to, you know, somewhere about right here or so, and then I put everything on end, and I stretched the other wire back, the rest of the wire, the spare wire back over itself, and then taped it all up. That way I don't have a bundle of wire like I do in my cargo area for my backup camera. It's all just kind of neat in a thick wire, but it's still, you know, there. So this is my power wire that I have tapped into my harness. Constant, 12 volt ignition. That's what I have the backup camera ran off of. I'm going to take the positive of the front camera, tap it off that same one. This right here is that negative that I tapped in there and I never used. So that's where I'm going to take the negative for the camera. I'm going to tap that into there, so I don't have to go all the way down to the kick panel where I got my defrost for my tow mirrors, and my rear view camera tapped off of one of the bolts down there. Since I don't have to go all the way back to the back of the truck, that's why I shortened the harness so much. And then the coax for a front camera, you tap in right here. Video input right here. You tap into that, and then you just go into the settings and activate the rear view camera. So it's no longer an AV source, it's a rear view camera. Front facing camera, you hook up to this one, this video input. Your backup camera, you would go down right there where that orange wire, or where that tan is right there. There's a corresponding tan RCA that's like that yellow one, and you plug into there. And that's for a rear view camera if you were doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then you just got to route these wires where you see fit. I routed them down through here, and they literally come out right down here. That's where I have both my camera inputs. But rambling, so let me go ahead and I gotta cut the sheathing, cut the heat shrink and tape off of this. Put my other wire around it, melt it, solder it together. Heat shrink, tape back up. And then this one I just gotta solder and heat shrink and tape. I like using heat shrink and tape because I don't always trust heat shrink by itself, especially the cheaper stuff, and especially the stuff that doesn't have glue in it. I ordered a whole bunch of heat shrink that was supposed to have glue in it, and it didn't. So I'm not too happy about that, but it seems like some decent heat shrink. It just doesn't have glue in it. But I still put tape over it just in case it decides to rub through, or you have a wire that's not laid flat and it's trying to poke out of the heat shrink. The tape keeps it from doing anything else, grounding off on something or whatever. But anyway, let me get this back in. Let me get this, go get my soldering iron, solder this stuff up, and I'll be back with where I mount the front. Alright. Tap the positive into that positive that I had coming out of the harness, and there is the negative. Tap in the negative, and I'm going to put some tape around that. There's the camera input, and I tested it out and it works. But I'll get into that later on. So fast forward just a little bit, I did some stuff on my own. That's not sitting flat at all. I need to drop that down. Well, maybe that's the way it's gonna be. You can't tell that it's slightly, wow, that is crooked. It's either this sliding where the bolt slides, but anyway, or it's warped from these screws. But anyway, fast forward a little bit. I popped my grill out a little bit and went ahead and mounted that using the camera on the inside to, obviously put it where it needs to be. I cannot tell. It's definitely, I don't know, whatever. It looks fine on the inside. Like I said, fast forwarded just a little bit. Used the double-sided tape to kind of line it up. Then took the camera off. Then used, which are still honestly too big, some number 6 self-tapping screws. And pretty much took the camera off, put one side, drilled it through, put it on the drill and screwed it until it popped this metal piece off, because once the threads hit it, it starts pulling it away. Then Took that off, finished tapping the hole with the screw, took it off, mounted it, put the other one on, did the same thing, started screwing it till I started peeling this piece back. Took that off, screwed it through, and then pretty much started both screws and then put it in and tightened it down. Dismounted, and I decided to go ahead and have the connection outside besides inside. I'm going to put the connection between the camera side and the vehicle side behind the grill, so when I remove the grill, I can just unplug the camera and then pull everything away. So, yeah, I'm almost done. I can show you what it look like. I'm done on the inside. Everything's all tightened up. I got everything all done. All I gotta do is finish the outside. Is it not? There it goes. There it is. It is not as wide as it needs to be. I think this is 130 something, 150 something wide. I need 170. I need something that's 170 width in the front, and that should be the whole, because I got about a foot on each side that's not showing. But at least I know where the front rollers are and all of this, so that'll be helpful pulling in a parking spot if I'm pulling forward into a parking spot or pulling up against something and I want to get close and don't want to be hanging out the back. I don't know. But it's also useful if I'm winching. If I ever need to winch anything or winch myself out or something. If I'm winching and I'm in the truck, I can look at the wire and keep an eye on the wire and make sure it's not bundling up and doing crazy stuff. That's what it is. I can go through the radio and show you how to enable the second camera. Go there, camera settings. Oops, trying to do this through the screen. Second camera, that's usually off, turn it on. Second camera reverse, turn it on, because this is a reverse camera, the image is automatically reversed, which is why reverse video in the rear is off. When you plug this thing in, let's see if I turn it off, and I go back, but that's all you gotta do. You just gotta go up there and turn the camera on, and then depending on what your camera is, you might have to reverse it. This is the way it comes in out of the box. That's reversed, because that white garage door is right there. So, and so you have to reverse it. Oops, camera settings. You have to reverse it because this is a reverse camera. And that's all you need to do. And go back to the camera. There it is. That's the way it's supposed to be, and that's how this is how you swap between the cameras. There's a reverse camera. There's the front camera. Turn it off, and you put it in reverse. It might not go in reverse because it's not going to go in reverse because I don't have it in ignition accessory. I have it in normal accessory. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to finish doing this up. I might do another segment of it all routed, but honestly, all I'm doing, it's done. I just got to take the wires, route it down through here, route it down through here. I have it down through here where the hood latch cable is, and then I'm going to just bundle it up and zip tie it somewhere back here. So when I pull the grill off, I can unplug it and not have to unplug it up here and then do a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much the camera install. I don't have anything tidied up, but camera's installed, the inside's done. It's just taking this wire and making it pretty. So, yeah. Might be back. If not, talk to y'all later. Bye. And that's done. Oh, my camera tried to do face recognition on my impact. Huh, that's funny. I got that straight, well, pretty much straightened out. It was just, there's a slider right here with 3 positions for that little tack screw to go into. That's a tack screw, it's like a number 4, probably. A very tiny screw that threads in the sides. If you use this bracket, or what I found out is behind this camera, one in each corner, there is actually parts you can bolt it in on a flat surface. Like if you wanted to do it on a flat surface, flat plate, you can bolt it in. So, got that ran through to here, where I have it wound up, and then zip tied to the hood release cable, and then I taped up the connection. So when I take this off, I just pull it off, cut the zip tie, unravel it, cut the tape off, and I got it routed through here, down in there, coming through the hole right there, and then it just comes down and goes along that the lower dash support, goes up behind the radio where I showed you, and I've already showed you how the radio works, but I can actually do it where it will do reverse now.
K-band, KA band, laser.
I wish this went away quicker, but at least it does go away on its own. The older NEX radios did not have that disappear. You had to press OK. This time it at least goes away. Oh, I have it in camera mode on, so camera shouldn't have went on, but it was in camera mode, which is a mode that lets you click the camera, the hourglass, and you mess with the radio, do stuff, and then when you get done, it goes right back to the camera, which is good for towing or whatnot. I already showed you how to turn on the camera. There it is. It defaults to the last camera you used. That's what I was talking about. You can press that, and it will go back to the radio interface, let you mess around, let you do stuff. And then, when you idle for so many seconds, it jumps back to the camera. But there's that camera. It's the front camera. And there's the backup camera. Now, there's no backup lines because I'm not in reverse. Go back to the front camera, take that off, and I can go in reverse now. Go in reverse. There it is, backup lines, and no, you cannot. I thought you could switch the cameras when you were in reverse. I guess you can't. But anyway, I'll go into all that when I do the review. So yeah, talk to y'all later. I need to get that winch box mounted fairly permanently, because I don't want that thing shortened out. It looks like it's been shortened out more than just what it was shortened out when I was up there. Bouncing down the road and stuff, it seems like it's been shortened out, so I really need to get that fixed. Those winch cables are stiff as heck, though. That's the whole reason I didn't mount it on the side. That's where I wanted to mount it. Rambling again. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.